Well, hello class and welcome to week 2 of English 102. I trust that week 1 went well, and so let's go through the checklist of the things that we need to do this week in week 2. As always, make sure that you guys go through the lecture first this week. Next, you guys are going to respond to the prompt for the discussion. Now, you guys are going to get 2 examples of emails to be able to respond to. You don't need to respond to both of them. If your last name begins with A through N, you'll respond to email number 1. If it begins with O through Z, you'll respond to email number 2. So just to go over that again, you will only respond to one of the 2 emails. And finally, you guys will have a multiple choice quiz. This quiz is untimed, so you can take as much time as you need on it, and you get 2 attempts. So we'll only take the grade that is the higher of the 2. Now this week we're specifically focusing on the mechanics of writing and grammar. And so we're going to be looking at subject-verb agreement and verb tenses. So let's go over to the whiteboard and check it out, and let's go over a sentence that can be problematic, and sentences like these tend to come up in students' writings all the time. And understanding what the subject is in the sentence will dictate what the verb and the verb tense will be. Let's take a look. All right, guys, here we are at a whiteboard, and I hope that you guys can see this okay. I'll be verbalizing it out loud. But the subject-verb agreement has everything to do with understanding and being able to identify the subject of a sentence. Now, there are lots of parts to a sentence. It's not just a subject and the verb, but there are other elements within the context of a sentence that can be confusing if you can't clearly identify the subject. Now, this particular sentence, I actually heard a narrator say this sentence when I was watching a documentary on climbing up Mount Everest. And so the sentence is, the group of climbers either was or were near the top of the mountain. So the group of climbers, we need to pick a verb, near the top of the mountain. Now, there's lots of elements of this sentence, but here's something that I do want to go over. And I want to compare this to a math problem. Now, in the context of a math problem, if you have 5 plus 2 plus 9 plus 4, we all understand that you can only use each one of those numbers once. Well, that's the same way in the context of a grammatical sentence. If you use a word in the sentence for a particular part of speech or a part of the sentence, you may not use it again as a different part. So in this particular sentence, in order to figure out if the verb is going to be was or were, you would need to discover what the subject of the sentence was. So what we have in the sentence is a lot of different things, but one of the main things in sentences that can trip up students when it comes to identifying subjects of the sentence is prepositional phrases. So there are 3 prepositions in this sentence. The first preposition, I'll put a square around all the prepositions. The first preposition is of. That's a preposition right there. Now, prepositional phrases always begin with a preposition and end with a noun, and that noun is called the object of the preposition. Now, there can be other words like articles and modifiers in between, and I'll show you that. But it always begins with a preposition, and the noun that comes after the preposition will be the object of the preposition, and that will indicate your prepositional phrase. So in this case, we have of being a preposition. The next noun that we have is the word climbers. So this word climbers is the object of the preposition. Okay? So our prepositional phrase goes from here to here. Now, if we go down even further, we see the word near. Near is a preposition. Now, as the preposition, what comes after it will need to be, it'll go all the way up until we find a noun, which will be the object of the preposition. Now, in this case, the word top would be the noun. That's the location that these climbers will be at. So near is our preposition. The word the is an article. I'll put a triangle around that That is an article. Also, we have another the up here as well. It's also an article. And so, as you can see in this prepositional phrase, we have near the top. Top will be our noun or object of the preposition. That is a prepositional phrase. The next one, the word of, is also a preposition, as it was here. And if you can see down here, we have another article in the word the, and mountain would be a noun. That is the object of the preposition. So this is our other prepositional phrase. Now, being that these are prepositions and that these are nouns or objects of the preposition, these objects, these nouns, belong to the preposition. So mountain would belong to of here. As being the object of the preposition, they cannot be the subject of the sentence. Because it's so easy for us to say the group of climbers were near the top of the mountain, because we would say, well, climbers is plural. We have an S here, it's plural. So we would want to use a plural verb here and were. And in fact, that's precisely what the narrator of this particular documentary I was watching did. He said the group of climbers were near the top of the mountain. The problem is climbers is not the subject. Group is. So we're going to put a big S here with a line underneath it. So group is the subject. Now this is also confusing for some students. I know there's a little bit of glare here. My apologies for that. But the word group is not a plural noun. It is singular. There's only one group. Now, we understand that there are multiple people that it takes to make up a group, but there is only one group. Other nouns that sound like they're plural but are not are like the word family. Family is singular, not plural, even though it takes a multitude of people to make up a family. Jury, committee, those are all singular nouns. Now, there might be committees, there might be more than one committee, in which case we would say those two committees are working on this project together. And in that case, committees would be plural. But in this case, we only have one group. So if we eliminated of climbers out of the sentence and we said the group was or the group were near the top of the mountain, it would actually be the group was. That is the correct answer. So when you're looking to establish subject-verb agreement, make sure that you're keenly aware of what the subject of the sentence actually is. It's not any old noun that you want to pick out of the sentence. If that noun is in the confines of a prepositional phrase, it is being used as the object of the preposition and thus cannot be used as the subject. If it's already being used as the object, it cannot be used as a subject. So make sure that you're able to identify the subject of the sentence to ensure a verb-subject agreement. Okay? I hope that helps you guys this week, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have for me next week.